to the very first public appearance of the car which still epitomizes the legend that is Porsche. This is the Frankfurt Motor Show in 1963, and the car is the Porsche Type 901. Most people, however, will recognize it as the first incarnation of the truly historic 911, a car with a pedigree that's been threaded through the Porsche story for almost 40 years. How did the 901 become the 911? It's a long story, but it's one worth telling. So, as an early 911 gets well and truly road tested, let's tell it. The number 901 was originally selected for Porsche's first six-cylinder road car at the start of the 60s because there was a growing commercial collaboration with Volkswagen. This meant assigning numbers to new projects that wouldn't clash with those already issued by either of the two companies. Porsche wanted to restart their project numbering from 0, and the 9 was the only prefix digit available. So it was decided that from 1963 onwards, all Porsche new car projects would begin with the number 9 and move upwards from 901. At least, that was the intention. In fact, after the 901 had caused a sensation at the Frankfurt show and Porsche had decided to put it into production, the company got a letter from the lawyers at Peugeot. This pointed out that Peugeot had the exclusive French rights to any automotive model designation of 3 numbers that had a 0 in the middle. And any attempt to sell the new Porsche as the 901 in France would result in prosecution to the full extent of the law. Rather than sell the new car in the French market under a different name, Porsche took the common-sense decision to completely forget about the offending 0 and start their new model numbering at 911. In return, Peugeot made the concession that Porsche's racing cars could keep the 0 if they desired, which explains the existence of the designation 904 for the Carrera GTS, and the 906, 907, 908 and 909 sports racers. It doesn't explain why the racing 910 came before the 907 and after the 1964 road-going 911. That's something we'll do for you later in the program. Technically, the 911 was a huge leap forward from the 356 models. It had a unitary body chassis that allowed higher volume production since it was assembled from preformed pressed steel panel. This also meant the 911 had more inherent torsional rigidity than its predecessor, and it would therefore handle better. Into the new body went an all-new 6-cylinder power unit. This still used Porsche's familiar Boxster configuration of a flat engine with horizontally opposed cylinders. However, instead of the single central camshaft and pushrod valve operation used by the 356, the 911 engine featured a single overhead camshaft for each cylinder block. The twin overhead cam layout used in the 356 Carrera engines was considered too costly and too complicated for this high-volume production model. Confirmation of the new car's capabilities was not long in coming. Less than 3 months after it went on sale, a 911 driven by Peter Falk placed 5th overall in the 1965 Monte Carlo rally. Bjorn Valdegaard is seen here on his way to winning the 1969 event outright. This followed a win for Vic Elford in 1968. So when Valdegaard repeated his victory in 1970, he completed a Monte hat-trick for the 911.
Et le trophée tant envié.